Early this morning, the Rochester community suffered another tragedy, as 2 people were killed and 2 more are fighting for their life as a result of a motor vehicle collision on West Ridge Road.
The FBI is now joining the investigation after a fiery and deadly crash in front of the Kodak Center. As you heard there, 2 people were killed, 2 more are fighting for their lives. 4 others were injured after an SUV slammed into a car and burst into flames last night. News 10 NBC's Becca Fifield has been following the story all day, just got back from a briefing with police. Becca, tell me what you know at this point.
It happened around 12:50 this morning. The SUV hit a car that was exiting the Kodak Center parking lot, and then it went up in flames. Video from the scene is hard to watch. Over 1,000 people were leaving the Kodak Center after a concert when this happened. Rochester Police Chief David Smith says a Ford Explorer was traveling eastbound when it hit a Mitsubishi Outlander, killing 2 of its adult passengers. The Ford then went up in flames. Police say that SUV was transporting at least a dozen gas canisters, but at this point, they're still trying to figure out why.
The force of the collision caused the 2 vehicles to go through a group of pedestrians that were in the crosswalk and then into 2 other vehicles. There was a large fire associated with the crash that took the Rochester Fire Department almost 1 hour to extinguish.
As we mentioned earlier, nearly 1,000 people were leaving Kodak Center early this morning. If you were one of them and saw anything or have any video or information that might help in this investigation, police are asking that you call 911. Becca Fifield, News 10, NBC.
I started hearing pop, 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 pop. And then I heard an explosion.
The FBI is now joining the investigation into the fiery and deadly crash outside the Kodak Center last night. 2 people were killed and 2 more are fighting for their lives. And 4 others are injured after an SUV slammed into a car and burst into flames last night. News 10 NBC's Brett Vetter joins us now live from the Public Safety Building with reaction from neighbors and the latest on the investigation. Brett?
Yeah, Marcia, the investigation is widening with FBI joining Rochester Police and in the investigation into what happened on Sunday night. Neighbors I spoke with today say the booming sound from the crash is unlike anything they've ever heard. Having lived across the Kodak Center for years, Laura Burcroft says she's seen plenty of accidents. But Sunday night's crash was different.
No way this is a regular accident because they don't whip out the big guns and all this. It was blocked off from Desmond all the way down Lake.
After running outside, Burcroft says that she noticed cars on fire, and as firefighters tried putting out the flames, another explosion.
I was watching them put the fire out, and then all of a sudden it looked like the fire was out, and boom, you heard another big blast and major flames again.
Over 1,000 people were leaving the Kodak Center after a concert when this happened. Rochester Police Chief David Smith says that a Ford Explorer was traveling eastbound when it hit a Mitsubishi Outlander, killing 2 of its adult passengers. The Ford, carrying gas canisters, went up in flames.
Once the fire was extinguished, first responders located at least a dozen gasoline canisters in and around the striking vehicle. Based on the danger level associated with these, the Rochester Police Department Bomb Squad and the Joint Arson Task Force responded to the scene.
3 pedestrians were also hit, all of them injured, one with life-threatening injuries. The band Mo, which was playing at the Kodak Theater, issued a statement on Facebook saying, in part, "On a night that was meant for celebration and togetherness, we are faced instead with a tragedy that defies understanding. Our hearts go out to the family and friends of those who lost their lives, and our thoughts are with those who were injured." And Rochester Police are asking anyone with information to call 911. Live at the Public Safety Building, Brett Vetter, News 10, NBC.
started hearing pop, 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 pop. And then I heard an explosion.
The FBI is now joining the investigation into the fiery and deadly crash. A car and burst into flames last night. News 10 NBC's Brett Vetter joins us now.
Tonight, Niagara Falls police identified the two people killed in a car crash at the Rainbow Bridge earlier this week. 53-year-old Kurt Villani and his 53-year-old wife Monica Villani died. They were from Grand Island, New York. Police say they're working to find out exactly what caused the car to go airborne, crash right into a customs toll booth, then explode Wednesday evening. The FBI says there's no evidence of terrorist activity.
Just 5 days ago,
But we just got some new video in, and we want to let it play. There it is. You can see the size of the fire there. Yeah. Let's listen.
Look how loud the smoke is. Oh my gosh, it's getting worse. Yeah. Is somebody trying to put it out, or?
I don't know. I don't know.
It's just spreading by itself?
Our car is right there. My car is right on the side. Oh my goodness, it's spreading. What happened?
Tom,
I have no idea.
Tom Winter, you can see the size of the fire. You can see the black smoke. Apparently, someone who is in a building very near the bridge and is trying to take that video in between some shades. But what do you make of the size? And you mentioned before, if anyone has seen the situation there, why both of the occupants of that car did not survive is very obvious.
Right. So this is video I hadn't seen before. If you notice, we're replaying it now. This is based on my experience. I always like to be really clear with everybody that's joining us this afternoon, whether or not it's based on reporting from the scene or just my experience having covered all of this. My experience with fires and vehicles, you're seeing how the flame is kind of trailing from left to right across your screen. That is typically associated with a gasoline leak. So if there's a fire involving a vehicle, you'll typically see as gasoline starts to leave that vehicle because of the damage that the fire will obviously follow that gasoline as it expands from the vehicle. So as you're seeing it, we're getting a better image now. It's right below that kind of shaded off portion from this window. There it is. As it goes left to right, you're seeing where the fire is following the fuel. That's another indication to me that there was not an explosive on board this vehicle, because if there was, it would have just been a catastrophic, if it was a true vehicle-borne improvised explosive device, it would have been a catastrophic explosion. And I think you would have seen more damage to the glass panels that obviously are covering up this particular inspection or checkpoint. But again, I'm not that familiar with this area. I'm not familiar with it at all, so I don't know whether this was a secondary inspection area or whether this is part of the primary crossing. It's just information I don't know off the top of my head, but this is certainly indicative of a vehicle fire after some sort of a catastrophic incident, which is obviously what's occurred here with this, according to our reporting, vehicle crashing into the structure at a high rate of speed.
Hi there, good evening everyone. I'm Taylor Epps. We begin with a possible breakthrough for investigators trying to figure out what caused last month's deadly explosion at the Rainbow Bridge. Niagara Falls police say they have recovered the black box data recorder from the vehicle. While it was severely damaged, investigators say they're working to recover any possible information here. The November 22nd crash killed a Grand Island couple when their Bentley jumped a median on Niagara Street and crashed into a U.S. Customs booth at the bridge. The city says it's also working with prosecutors to subpoena Bentley Motors for any other personal information or records for this car.